All right, and welcome again. I love Black people, and today we've been blessed to have my brother, your brother, an amazing brother, dynamic brother, a colossal brother. I don't have as many expletives or any. I don't know enough big words to cover how amazing and grandiose this wonderful Black man, a son of Howard University, son of Rufus. He's just an amazing, a wonderful brother, and I'm so thankful to be able to call him and kind of bend his ear about so many of these poignant topics of this, what's going on currently on these headlines. He's right on top of it, been on top, never on the bottom. God bless you.
This is I Love Black People Radio on H.U.R. Voices, Sirius XM, Channel 141. I Love Black People is more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong worldwide. I am because we are.
Thank you, my brother, good brother, Dr. Rod D. Ferguson. Welcome to I Love Black People.
Man, I appreciate you so much, Sinclair. Those people don't know, Sinclair was one of my mentors at Howard University. We were in the School of Engineering together. He got to Howard a little bit before I did. He transferred from Tuskegee, and Sinclair kind of taught me the ropes, man. Taught me how to navigate the political landscape at Howard University. Because some people don't know that there's more politics that go down on the hilltop of Howard University than in the city of D.C. And I learned how to walk the hallways and engineering, and how to walk the yard, and how to get stuff done. And since we're in this forum, Brother Sinclair, I'd like to tell you, man, that I appreciate you. And I love you, brother.
Man, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on here, Rod-D, and all that you said. But man, I'm just grateful for this lifelong relationship. I still remember when you was, what was it, Texas Instrument? Was it Texas Instrument? Man, I just remember we both on our first jobs. We getting in here trying to, bro, this life real.
So it was so wild for me when I got to Texas Instruments, because it was like when you have Black college, it's so different than being in high school. Your teachers are Black, your classmates are Black, the cafeteria workers are Black, the vendors are Black. The pavement is Black. Everything is blackety black, black. And then you're like a saltwater fish. And then when you leave the campus to go to work, they put you in fresh water. And it's water, but you can't breathe. And you feel like you strangled by the world, and you have to kind of cognitively and effectively calibrate and get your breathing mechanisms, changed over so that you could breathe in that fresh water, because it's not the same. And I had such a hard time moving over from Howard University into the corporate America world, not because I didn't have the skill set. It's because that which I love was no longer available. And I mean, we're on the show now, but I love Black people, and man, if you really love Black people, man, you'll know how much you love them when you go to Black college.
Go ahead.
Going to Black college, man, I left out of that world, and I missed it so much. And it brought me back to the times of, having the conversations on the yard at Howard. And I talk about this because they talk about it right now in the social political landscape of the 1619 project and the things that are going on politically about critical race theory. And I learned so much about Black folks at Black college. It was unbelievable. Like, I hear people opine, especially white people opine about Black issues, and Black folks haven't taken a history class, haven't taken an African American history class, haven't taken an African studies class, haven't taken a Black diaspora class, haven't taken anything Black. Even in the school, they offer AP European history and AP American history, but they don't offer any AP African history in high school, because they just want you to. They don't want you to think that the higher level history contains Africans in it. And the thing about it is, when I went to Howard, man, I got to find out who we were, who I was, who I belonged to. And once I saw how great we were and I didn't see those people around, I began to think that corporate America has something wrong with it.
But can you, and this is, and I want to talk about the Olympics because you're an Olympian. But the thing about the Texas Instruments, when we were on the phone, I remember I was in a cubicle. Like all I'm trying to say is thinking about you, I was really seeing me.
Hey, whisper like we in the field. We on
right. So my point is, Padi, when you made that bold, brother, I mean, you always been bold, but when you made that bold decision to go away, like you had a meaningful career. I mean, you were an engineer. You did one hell of a dismount. You left Howard and you went to one of the top, you know what I'm saying? I mean, right. So you was there, you know, as bizarre as they are, as crazy, but you literally, you know, where many people dream of going, like we're going to finish college, you know, everybody waiting to get their acceptance letter to something, you know what I'm saying? Where you going to go? You got it. You're there. How did you say, I'm going to stop being a damn engineer and go into lab? I mean, come on, then we can talk about the current. But that transition was some bold stuff.
See what happened. My supervisor at the time, we went to Atlanta for one of those technical fairs. You know what I'm saying? Those tech meetings, big meeting. So I got there early. And when everybody else got in, I was with a couple of my people from Howard in the lobby. So when all the white technical sales people, I was a technical sales representative for Texas Instruments. When all the white people walked in, they saw us downstairs, ha and kiki and blah, blah, blah. You understand what I'm saying? And then later on, they was like, hey, we're going to dinner. And I was like, no, I'm not going to dinner. I already got plans. Because I was there for the tech meeting. I wasn't there to meet with them. And then they met for breakfast in the morning. I get up early to work out. Because I'm training, training at the time, competing. So I'm up early, 5:30. I'm running, working out. Bam! Early in the morning. By the time it's 8 o'clock, I'm at the tech sales fair. I done met all the people, Sinclair. I done got all the business cards, everything. Sinclair, by 11 o'clock, I'm back in the lobby. I'm dressed back in my regular stuff. No slacks, no shoes. I'm back in the 11 o'clock. They coming downstairs, walking through. I'm back downstairs with the Howard folks, chilling, laughing. When I got back to California, my supervisor sent me an email letting me know that he was not happy with my behavior and what I was doing. And he wanted to come out there and see my sales reports. Because you have to make some reports about the people that you met and all the business cards and what are they called? I don't even have the name for them anymore. But they want to see the chart for the organizational chart and all that stuff, which I had all that stuff already done. Engineers, I had all that done. Everything in the manila folder file. You understand? Everybody that I met with, the time I met with them, everything. I said, no problem. He said, well, I want you to get my plane ticket to come out there. I said, no problem. And I put him on Southwest. He said, well, I normally don't fly Southwest. And I said, I normally don't book flights for people either. So he came out there. We sat down. He went through his whole thing. And I pulled out all my sales reports and all the business cards and all the people I met with and all the follow-up calls I had done. Because, when you're doing technical sales back in the day, you had to have, we were still on day timers, writing down the calls and who you called and when, email follow-up, and had the folders and everything, Microsoft Outlook. He said, man, I didn't know you did all that stuff and met with them people. I said, and you didn't ask either. I said, and that's the problem that I have with you. I said, but we'll follow up. Hey, I done took the meeting up. I said, but we'll follow up with this tomorrow when you get back. By the time he got back, now understand this, I was hired by the National Director of Technical Sales. I was also nominated for Technical Sales Rep of the Year in the organization. By the time he got back, Sinclair, on the plane and got back to Chicago, I had submitted my resignation letter via fax. So he got it my man was calling. I finally put the phone. He said, man, I had a feeling that this was going to happen. I said, yes. I said, because you got a big mouth, man. I said, let me tell you something. I said, y'all got too much mouth. I said, you sat down and talked with all them white dudes all night long and listened to all them stories that they told you about me. I said, you didn't ask me not one time. I said, man, I don't belong in here. He said, would you consider, I said, no, I'm not considering it. Because I had already called Eddie Liddy at the Olympic Training Center and asked him, can I go there and train? So I had,
hallelujah. Amen.
Yeah, all my stuff was free housing, free food, free everything. I had saved my money. I drove from California to Colorado Springs, and I started training full time, and it was over with. And I never worked for anybody again, not in that capacity.
They say he's seeing signs. Those are signs. He said, "Oh, you was clear."
I was reading a book at the time by Stephen Catlin called "Work Less, Play More," and after I read that book. I'm glad I read. I forgot who told me about it. I'm glad I read that book when I started working because it spoke about when you first start working at a job, and it started happening. Your manager, the white folks want to tell you, "Hey man, you need to get a house, man. You need to get a house. It's a good piece of." But once you get a house, you're stuck. And in the beginning, they say, "Hey man, when you gonna have the kids? Once you get the kids in the house, you're stuck." "Hey man, why don't you get a bigger car? Once you get the kids in the house, the big car, you're stuck." The best thing to do is when you're young, I'm talking about 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, stay as liquid and as flexible as possible. Yeah, if you can own some property, great if somebody pass them down. You put something down on a house, rent for a little while. Why? So you can stay flexible. Next job offer comes, bam, you out. You can take it. You can always leverage. You can always be ready to go. Once you got a house and you stuck, and I'm telling you, because I've seen them do it, those people in corporate America will start dropping the hammer on you. They'll start with this line. When you hear this line, understand you have been highly disrespected. When you hear this line, I'm gonna give you this line right now. You ready for it?
Right here.
Sentence with "that'll be great," you're disrespected. When they say, Sinclair, I know you gotta work on you got some stuff to do with your kid on Saturday, but we really need these reports done. So if you can get us to them, you can get them to us by Monday. That'll be great. Right. Or they come into your office, you working on something, they got a piece of paper in their hand, and they say, Jim, I know you're working on something right now, but if you can get this done for me by noon and get it into my office, that'll be great. Anytime they start saying that'll be great, they don't always start. That'll be great means forget everything that you're doing and handle what I need you to handle right now.
But they dismissed everything you was doing and replaced it with their demand. Now, you talking to I got tired. My last gig was the U.S. Patent Office, and I got sick and tired of getting fired. That was like my third. When I talked to you, I was working at this company, Omida, making incubators for babies. So I did like the actual work itself, and I was manufacturing little product development. Loved it. Really did enjoy doing something that was helpful. But like you said, the racism, I had a supervisor come in there. I'm running a test. I got all this stuff connected and the meters and probably some Texas Instrument products. And dude asked me, do I know how to speak jive? I'm my supervisor. Now, this is the person going to determine if I get a promotion, a raise, what happens in my life. He comes in and says, look, I hadn't even had my morning coffee. I literally was about setting up an experiment where you run it. It's like I was doing like humidification, heating. So you got to like cycle up and down, all that. I'm like, so I'm just trying to get on it. I was always early. I'm an early person anyway, so I always like to get there before they get there. I feel like a competitive advantage. So I'm in there, getting myself all set up, and he come in with his coffee. Hey, Skinner, you know how to speak jive? And this dude, so I literally left. I left the situation where we used to have an afternoon where we go around and everybody would kind of give an update on there. So the guy doing the electrical system would give his update, the superstructure being like this, the incubator stands on that thing. And then I had the humidification. The other guy had the temperature. We would always do like a debriefing. And then at the end, they would always kind of go around, say some anecdotal stuff or a joke or some story that would help the team out. And they got to me, and I came up with something called the top 10 list. I said the David Letterman top 10 list of inappropriate things to say in the workplace. Oh, God. So I went through this thing, man, of all the things that these clown dicks have ever said to me at this job. So, have you ever been to prison? So, do you have a degree? Like all the questions. I said, look. And then the last one was so, and I didn't eyeball nobody. I said, look, I know these are questions that you all might have, and I know all of you probably happen to have friends that happen to be Black at home. Those are where you ask those questions. And I'm not saying this based on anything but what your mama taught you. Your mama taught you don't stay there. Your mama said don't do certain things. And this is some of the things that you shouldn't do in the workplace. I did maybe 5 more weeks and I was out.
They fired you?
Yeah, they fired me. Well, you know, they do that, what do they call it? Where they give you the offer to resign and they'll give you some time. I think they said they give me 9 weeks. And I said, how about 12? And they said no. And I literally left and worked on Nick Eames' city council race as his campaign manager. Got another gig working at the U.S. Patent Office. It was the same thing. And I had a frat brother from UDC. And brother, he looked out and you know how his rivalry of DC, Howard versus D. But he put me down. I didn't have to do nothing but show up in them government jobs. I just showed up. I was a GS, some, and worked, but it still was the same plantation and being objectified and dismissed. And none of us like being disrespected, but I was living for the weekend, brother. I was giving away 5 days to somebody else and getting myself 2 on the end. 2 on the end. Come on.
It was horrible living for the weekend, man. Living for vacation. Listen at me. I'm driving my car down the road, I-5. The regional sales manager, the one that came to see me, he's riding with me. We're going down to Mexico. I'm listening to a little music in my car. It's not super loud. I'm just listening to music. We're driving. My man reaches up, turns the radio down, like down to 0. When he turned the radio down to 0, Sinclair, I turned my head to the right and looked at him. Sinclair, I veered the car all the way off to the side of the road and off the road and then stopped. He said, what's going on? I said, because you know, I'm fresh out of Black college now. I graduated. I got to college at 17. I did 5 years of H.U.R, finished at 22, 3 sports, football, wrestling, track. You know how it is. I'm deep, Q-side 5, you dig?
I don't know how it is, but I watch from the sidelines. Yes, sir.
I'm deep. I'm Black college. You know what I'm saying? So he said, what's going on? I said, main man. That's how I talked to him then. I said, main man. I said, don't you ever in your life put your hands on that middle console when I'm driving. Well, I said, don't you ever in your life put your hands on that middle console when I'm driving. Do you understand? And he like 52. He said, yeah, I understand. I said, if you want to turn the radio down, I said, you ask me and I'll let you turn it down or I'll turn it down. I said, but don't put your hands up there anymore. Do you understand? He said, yes, sir. I said, good. I turned the radio back up, got back onto the highway, right?
He said, thank you for correcting me. It
was the most silent drive of all time. You understand what I'm saying? Now this dude ended up coming to my wedding when I got married. I wasn't working there no more. Him and his wife came to the wedding. He tells that story to this day.
As he said.
He said, I've never had anybody that worked for me handle me like that. I said, you know why? I said, because I wasn't never working for you.
Go ahead, tell him. Tell him.
I wasn't working for you? Shit, I'm not working for you. You're crazy. Well, Sinclair, we didn't ran through everything. We might as well run through the Olympics now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Golly, that was great.
I went to the Olympics in 2004 in Athens, Greece, and I had an opportunity to represent the United States in the sport of judo. As a matter of fact, I won 4 national judo championships. I was an alternate in 2000, made the team in 2004. And this year was the first year that I was ever able to watch the opening ceremonies. the Olympic experience is really, really traumatic. Most people, and I said this on a couple podcasts, most people don't, in their life, they never really push hard to the right of the bell curve. And if you push to the hard to the right of the bell curve, you're going to have the same issues of the people who are on the left of the bell curve. So for the people who don't understand what the bell curve is a bell curve distribution, normal populations in the middle, your elite and talented and gifted people on the right, and the people who are usually physically or mentally challenged are on the left. And the more to the left you go, the more that the person is usually disabled and doesn't have a lot of cognitive function. And the more to the right you go to people who are, high level functioning athletes, people who are immense, et cetera. And I'm talking about in terms of abilities. I'm not talking about financial assets or anything. So on the right of the bell curve, the people have issues and problems just like the people on the left. But more often than not, we look past the problems of the people on the right because we're just so impressed with the things that they can do. What happened recently with Simone Biles happens to every Olympian that I know. It just happened to Simone Biles at that date, at that time, at the Olympics. Every Olympian goes through that because all of us no longer compete anymore. All of us have breaks. Everybody has what we call a quit mechanism. Like, people don't like to use the word quit because we're taught from young, winners never quit and quitters never win. And don't quit. When you start something, make sure you finish. And these things are truisms, and we learn them as truisms, but compartmentally, there is a time to quit. If you're in a bad marriage and you're being abused, there's a time to quit. There's a time in what we call business, there's a time for stop loss. Things are going poorly, and I need to stop the amount of loss that is occurring. And it is essentially quitting, but it's really just stop loss. I remember one day I was running outside after the 2004 Olympics. I was training, and I just stopped, man. I just stopped, started walking, and turned back around. One Olympian that I know, he's a 4-time Olympian, Jimmy Pedro, said he had the same exact story. Went out for a run one day, stopped, turned around, and just walked back home. That was it. That was it. Now, whether Simone goes back home and rebounds and regroups and then comes back, or she rebounds, regroups, and quits, it's okay. It happens to everybody. The one thing that people don't want to acknowledge is that she quit, and it's okay to quit. Everybody has a quit mechanism. If I put a pair of shoes on anybody who's listening right now and I make them run as long as they can, for as far as they can, as hard as they can, in a certain period of time, they will quit. That's just what it is. Everybody's capacity is different. The capacity load that she can handle, she handled until she couldn't handle anymore, and she raised her hand and said, "Hey, I can't handle this anymore. Somebody else needs to take this over." And that's a great place to be, and it's a great space to open up because that space wasn't opened up before. And I can't tell you the amount of judo Olympians, not Olympians in total, but the amount of judo Olympians who have committed suicide. Suicide because they couldn't raise their hand like Simone Biles did and say, "Hey, I've had enough. The emotional stress is going to cause some physical stress, and it's going to cause me to hurt myself." Because understand this, if you know you're not feeling up to the quarter turns and the flips and the rotation, and you know you're not up to it, and you go out there and do it, that is a form of suicide. She had the wherewithal and the courage to say, "You know what? I can't do this." And she sat down. Now, here's the thing. And I talk about the LGBTQ argument all the time when I talk about it. You have to give space for people's conceptual framework. Meaning, if somebody's Christian and they believe what you do is a sin, that doesn't make them homophobic. They love you and they believe your behavior is sinful. You want people to accept what you do, you got to accept what they think, and then everybody move forward. You don't get to call somebody a name because they don't think what you think. There's space. If you want people to accept your lifestyle, they say, "You know what? I accept your lifestyle. I also think it's a sin." Well, no. You got to accept the way that I think too. So for me, people say, is Simone Biles the GOAT? For me, she's not the GOAT, because you can't be the GOAT and quit mid-event. Yeah, but everybody quits. Everybody does quit. Everybody does stop. I get it. But she's not the GOAT for me. Is she amazing? Yes. Does she have more medals than other people? Yes. Is she superb? Yes. Is she one of the best to ever do it? Yes. For me, could I call her the GOAT? No, I can't. But is she amazing? Yes. And then people say, well, you want to, that you trying to SHIT on black women. I said, she's awesome. I just happen to think Barry Sanders is better than Jim Brown. My dad thinks Jim Brown is better than Barry Sanders. My favorite when I grew up, and it ain't going to change, is going to be Mary Lou Retton. My favorite basketball player is Larry Bird. If you saw me in my face right now, I'm damn near blacker than the ace of spades. Those are my favorites. Those are my goats.
This is I Love Black People Radio on H.U.R. Voices, Sirius XM Channel 141. I Love Black People was more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong worldwide. I am because we are. Special thanks to Banneker Communities.